The Federal Reserve is not actually federal. It's a private corporation owned by a consortium of Wall Street banks. They pay the Fed's economists like Ben Bernanke to come up with the hogwash that gets people to try the tequila trap. Bernanke claims globalization, opening up to international speculators, boosts the nation's GDP an impressive 10%. Then someone actually looked at his figures. The benefits are actually just 0.1%, and that's only after 8 years of ideal trade conditions that exist just in theory, such as total absence of corruption.
One of the most widely cited factoids in defense of free trade is rubbish. Financial globalization has not generated increased investment or higher growth. The countries that have grown most rapidly rely least on capital inflows.
Rapid growth countries like Ecuador get vicious pressure from Washington for steering clear of Wall Street. Programs like USAID are scrapped and presidents are assassinated. In Confessions of an Economic Hitman, former IMF exec John Perkins writes, when the fund fails to get its way, the CIA sanctions the murder of the country's leader. It's accompanied by outright lies from corporate media, so the public never finds out. Ellen Brown's considered one of the most outstanding thinkers in economics. Her book, Web of Debt, rips Wall Street's global fraud apart. Thanks so much for coming on. What really happens in countries that avoid Wall Street?
Ecuador has been a brilliant success, and even when they try to say negative things about it, there's just not much you can criticize. What they've done, for example, they actually have nationalized the oil. And they're using those oil revenues they use to back their central banks. So they're actually backing development with their own oil company. I mean, imagine if they would allow the U.S. government to actually go into business of different sorts. The government might actually have some money. They told the Argentinians that it would be a disaster. It worked brilliantly well. They told the Ecuadorians and in Iceland, they tried to scare them into going with the program, and they defied the big banks, and it worked out much better for them than for the countries that have gone along. I mean, look at Greece. It hasn't helped them at all to go along.
The Greek tragedy is coming to America. Wall Street gave more than anyone else to Obama's re-election campaign. He's now agreed to bring austerity to the U.S., as the Goldman boss requests.
You're going to have to undoubtedly do something to lower people's expectations, the entitlements, and what people think that they're going to get, because they're not going to get it.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
Some things, and you could go back and you can look at the history of these things, and Social Security wasn't devised to be a system that supported you. The retirement age has to be changed, maybe some of the benefits have to be affected. Entitlements have to be slowed down and contained.
Neoliberalism isn't even in the interest of America. Millions of U.S. jobs are being shipped abroad, 500,000 each year to China alone, in the name of globalization. Author and former